Okay, so we are joined now by a Democratic strategist who believes that Joe Biden won last night by not winning or losing the debate. Mike Morey joins me now from New York to explain. Mike, great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So did Joe Biden win, in your opinion, because of the path of taking the path of least resistance here?
Well, I think Joe came out really strong in the first half of the debate. I think that he wanted to send a message that he can take on any of his opponents up on that stage and demonstrate that he has a pretty good command of the facts. I thought it was pretty interesting that he made a calculated decision to challenge Elizabeth Warren directly before he was engaged by anyone else on that stage, which I think goes to show the degree to which he's trying to make it clear to people that despite what they may have thought about previous debate performances or whether he is in total command, he is, and he's willing to challenge people on the facts. He's willing to challenge people on the cost of their health care plan. I think the second half, he stumbled a little bit, but Joe Biden has sort of been up and down in most of the debates so far. But at the end of the day, Joe Biden didn't get ruffled. I think everything was fairly status quo, and what we've seen consistently throughout all the debates and the campaign thus far is that even when Joe Biden has tough moments, his polling numbers have stayed remarkably strong. Some of the other candidates have certainly climbed a bit, but his numbers have been pretty stable. So that's the reason I'd say at the end of the day, I think Joe Biden won by both winning and not losing and just status quo.
Yeah, and these are the numbers here. I mean, he loosened a little bit in the last polls, the CNN poll, in terms of the man to beat Donald Trump. And that's what this is all about, because someone out of that lineup is going to be taking on the U.S. president. However, they were very focused on policy minutiae. Is that just where this is in the stage, in the election process right now?
Well, look, it is 10 Democrats, and then there are some who didn't make the stage. But there are Democrats trying to talk to Democrats as to why they're the best positioned to carry the party banner to take on the incumbent Republican. So the policy details do matter at this point for a Democratic primary electorate. But on top of that, what we've seen consistently in all the polling among Democrats is people want someone who they think can defeat Donald Trump, who has the best shot at defeating Donald Trump. And I think what Joe Biden has done is tried to demonstrate that some of his rivals, as good as they are on policy, may not be able to appeal to the broadest cross-section of America in order to defeat Donald Trump. But I don't think Joe Biden is the only one who recognizes that. I think if you paid particular close attention to Elizabeth Warren was very, worked really hard not to get into the specifics as to whether her policy positions, particularly on Medicare for All, will result in a middle-class tax hike. She never answered the question, rightfully and smartly. She didn't answer the question because she also knows that at some point someone's going to emerge from this field and going to have to start competing for the center. And if that's Elizabeth Warren or that's Joe Biden, you don't want to be in a place in which the Republican candidate, Donald Trump, can get out there and say that they're going to raise taxes on the middle class.
So if the point of this conversation is about policy, whether it's health care or guns, for example, are these going to be single issues that Democratic voters, independents, are going to be looking to? How much mirroring are we seeing, say, into the lead up to the midterms, for example? Or is this all going to just be about Donald Trump?
Look, for now, it's going to be, interestingly, in this debate, I think Kamala Harris was really one of the only people who made Donald Trump a centerpiece of any of her remarks in the debate last night. And it was really the candidates positioning themselves vis-a-vis each other as they talked to a Democratic electorate in order to get the eventual nomination. So, yeah, it's going to be a policy debate because right now they are competing for a subset of the wider American political electorate. And as they compete for that subset, they want to appeal to both the hearts and the minds of Democrats. They want to inspire Democrats with broad sweeping proposals, but they also want to make sure that they send a broader message to them about the ability to defeat Donald Trump, which is goal number one for any Democrat in the U.S. right now. So I think you're going to have a little bit of both. And I think at this stage of the game, in this debate last night in particular, I think you saw the candidates really just trying to position themselves for the Democratic primary electorate who will then determine who it is that's going to take on Donald Trump.
Okay, fascinating stuff. Mike Morey there. Great to have your perspective. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.